Get ready for an amazing best of 3 series here, a grand finals from Qualifier 1 of the Eggs Cup. Do be sure to check it all out. Of course, we'll be live on Transparent TV, on Twitch, on Tuesday, possibly even now as you watch this. So do come check out the stream. But every Tuesday in November, we'll be streaming the Eggs Cup for those qualifiers before the 30th of November when it's our main fundraising event for Movember. So come check us out and enjoy this series.
And here we go, Transparent. Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yes, we are here. Franco's Apostles in the blue side here and Norway in red. Who is going to be getting these points to get towards that grand final? Okay. A little bit of confusion with the third place playoff. I'm going to just award both teams 3 points. Yeah, we are getting started here, getting kicked off. Welcome everybody who's finally getting to enjoy some Heroes of the Storm content.
We made it. Yeah, you didn't think we were going to make it, and then look at that. Here we are. I'm very proud of us personally.
Quellax might still be here after their umpteen adverts. But who knows? So we will be starting a prediction here. It is going to be Genji banned out and Zeratul banned out. Not wanting these melee assassin heroes against Protoss Frank.
Yeah, he is definitely a beast on those divey heroes. In response, though, Rainy Day Eric, we saw what his Mephisto looked like in Tomb on our first game on stream. He's not going to be allowed anywhere near that again. I wonder what else they're going to remove. Will they target the Sylvanas, or are they going to look for something more meta in the Johanna or the Junkrat? No, Sylvanas going to be removed.
Yeah, so lots of high damage picks here being taken out. Of course, we do have predictions up and available. You can already get your predictions in if you want, or wait till the end of the draft. They'll be here for 10 minutes. As Johanna is the first pick here. It's been a stalwart pick throughout everything, but so has Junkrat. Meanwhile, Norway haven't really shown that same Junkrat. They're much more of the flashy, big damage, and that's why Mephisto and Sylvanas have both been banned out. We're going to see the hacker taken here by Franco's Egg Apostles.
And it is going to be that Junkrat for Coffee as well. It's not quite as powerful into the Johanna as it is other tanks, but still a very strong pickup. Lots of potential damage being put out by that. And I do like the early prior one to Haka, but Makaku not hanging around. He's on Stukov.
Yeah, that's going to help with sort of locking down an individual target, but who else is going to be? It's going to be Chromie coming out from Rainy Day Eric. A good hero for getting traps out as well. And easily, if you get that sort of 1-2 combo with a temporal loop and then the silence underneath, or even silencing someone who could save that hero from the temporal loop, can work
Lots
out
of
very
potential for vision control from Chromie. Lots of poke. It's very difficult to secure turn-ins while the Sand Gnome is up, especially while she still has fought. So the red team going to try and secure a first turn-in and go from there. I wonder if Eric is going to play the Chromie, or if there's an option for it to get swapped off and to give it over to Engine. Let Eric play something more aggressive if it looks right. I think showing Eric early in the draft might be a little bit of an option to sort of, lull their opponents into a first sense of security before some aggressive dive could come out if warranted. Meanwhile, though, Protoss Frank is still up on the other side, and he likes a good dive too. Transparent. What could we see coming out from him? We might have to wait a couple more picks, as probably Sephiroth and the Dark Wolf will lock in here. It's looking quite like juicy for a Diablo here.
Yeah, Lucio also still available, as sort of said. The high 5 could be a good solution, but of course you are going into the Stukov. But I think, high 5 as well into Blessed Shield. It all kind of works quite nicely here for Franco's Egg Apostles. And I think we have seen that, and yeah.
Look at that. It's like we've got someone's stream open.
I haven't. I promise, Luca. I promise. I heard you talk about it in the Rumble yesterday, and it made me smile so much.
Team effort. It made Toki be very excited as well. I think I accidentally gave him the tech. I like this Leoric pick into the Diablo. It should prove quite strong. It's quite good in the lane as well. Difficult for Dahaka to push into it too much. Engine, what is he going to pick here? It's going to be Hanzo. Hanzo Chromie, lots of long range poke. Lots of accuracy is going to be required here from the blue team. But Protoss Frank is still to pick with Genji banned on Tomb of the Spider Queen. You can tell his dive is truly respected. What is he going to pick up for himself? Kerrigan is still on the table. I don't know if that's in Frank's repertoire. I also don't know if I want it into Stukov, but it's there. It'd be great, mate.
Well, I've lost the next OBS scene that I go into usually. I don't know what's happened to it. Oh, it's right at the bottom somehow. I've managed to move it all the way to the bottom. I found it though now, so we're all good. Yes, well, there are the two teams. Greymane rounding off this composition. Sorry, Luca, I got completely distracted as per usual. And we are going to be seeing these two teams go up against each other. This Greymane, are they going to be able to get that burst in? Luca, predictions, please.
I don't think the Greymane is the answer I was hoping for. It is going to be able to apply a lot of pressure onto Hanzo and Chromie, but Johanna deals with it quite well. Dukov does as well. I think I'm just edging Norway on the draft here.
Well, let's see as we get into game number 1 here in our grand final. Well, the grand finals of this qualifier anyway, as we have Franco's Egg Apostles here in the blue. They are the Dark Wolf on Diablo, Protoss Frank on Greymane, Saphiro on that Lucio, TV Coffee on Junkrat, and Not Prepared on Dahaka.
And our red team hailing from sunny Norway, Zeus on Leoric. We're going to have Engine on the Hanzo. Tommy Gun bringing out the Johanna. Makaku just gained himself a calf, and now he's on Stukov. And finally, having a rainy day, it's going to be Eric on that Chromie.
And predictions are still up and available, and no one has yet to predict Franco's Apostles. So it could be some easy transparent points here.
Franco's Egg Apostles to you there, Chance?
Yes, Franco's Egg Apostle.
Gotta respect the name.
We do indeed. As Tommy Gun goes in, tries to find a little bit of a disruption here against that blue team. There's going to be a tongue from Not Prepared that catches out on Hanzo, as well as a boot from Saphiro. Oh, it's straight into the trap. It was completely foreseen. That Trapmeister, who can see into time, is not Chromie, it is Junkrat. As Greymane unfortunately goes down. It's a 1-for-1 trade after all of that, Luca.
I blame Eric. He obviously knew that was going to happen. He's playing Chromie. She sees the future, but like the little sand gnome that she is, does she help her teammates out with a nice piece of intel? No. Letting that Hanzo dive into his own death there. 1-for-1 and secured later on, though, on the Greymane is going to set these two teams up very evenly in this initial rotation. And interestingly, Eric not going for the vision talent on one for that spell power and the activatable reveal, instead really wanting to be able to plaster W's across his screen.
Yeah, I mean, that can be really good. A little bit of burst, especially against a Lucio, who can't really deal with that instantaneous damage all too well. So if you get that adding up onto one of those squishy targets, Junkrat or Lucio, you absolutely are getting a good amount of value. However, you do have to land those stacks on there initially.
That's true. Those stacks do need to connect, as we can see now. Blue team forced down to deal with that Bruiser camp, but they did get, that Siege camp, but they did get their Bruiser camp up in the mid lane. It's been almost 8 years of this game, and I still cannot say Bruiser and Siege the right way around, transparent.
I mean, they used to be called easy and hard, but who knows? That was a long, long time ago. Probably 10 years ago now, as we see the Dark Wolf looking on this side, gets stopped by Rainy Day Eric, and now Engine and the rest of the red team are trying to find some sort of damage into them. Leoric, a little bit of trouble, but Zeus is able to Wraith Walk away. Not Prepared, comes out of the bush, finds the tongue onto Johanna. Not the ideal target. They tried nonetheless. This Bruiser camp is going to be pushing in against this wall, but I don't know the red team are going to be able to do much about it for the time being.
I will. Lovely pick up there, though, on that Johanna being bullied out a little bit too much. Makaku didn't quite have the sustain, and Protoss Rank and Coffee just getting so much damage out here, transparent to begin with. They're starting to build themselves a little bit of a lead, and I wonder if they will be able to snowball it from here.
Yeah, so of course this blue team, they are just clearing these waves diligently. And I mean, I guess at level 8 we'll see that Chromie Heroic come in, and maybe they'll have that little bit of a breath that they can try and find some sort of opportunity. But yeah, very, very hard for the red team right now, especially as they are feeling the pressure of the bullying nature of Franco's egg apostles.
Yes, no, definitely. Lots of pressure coming out indeed. Lots of like high micro potential from the Greymane and the Junkrat, and they're using it as much as they can. Chromie and Hanzo are a lot more poke based, and so they can't really match the damage when it gets too close quartered. Not a lot of surprises so far in the builds. Junkrat again going into that more E-focused style. Hanzo focusing on his W, and Chromie as well, trying to drop sand down on her opponents from very great height. Darkwolf has found Makaku though. Unfortunately, Coffee couldn't quite get the trap where he needed it, so Stukov is going to be allowed to just walk away. And I think we're really seeing some of the weakness of the early Johanna. Great at clearing the wave, but the control that it offers for the team and the potency of the engage is just not quite there. Norway are very, very passive early, and it's allowing both the tank and the assassins of the blue team to step up a bit more than maybe they would have wanted to be allowed to.
Yeah, I mean, this is usual with Johanna, right? She doesn't have a lot of aggression in the game. That Blessed Shield comes in at level 10. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Diablo has that charge. It's going to be a blue Web Weavers coming in first, and well, the red team do need to put a lot of resources into clearing it. And speaking of which, Makaku is in a great deal of trouble, is not prepared, comes out of the shadows. It gets a great lick, and Stukov will go down. Tommy Gun, in fact, scared to step forward to pick up those 15 gems and only manages to get 6 of them.
Yeah, gems on the deck and the healer dead as the Web Reavers come in for your opponents. That is not an ideal position. The blue team want to crack open this top 4. A lot of value in the lane with the boss in it. They're going to try and siege this as much as they can, Trans. And already that wall has fallen. The Web Reaver is very healthy. And remember, Greymane can put a lot of damage into that building. Johanna is going to do their best to stand up and make that difficult. The Stukov silence as well, controlling some of the space there by Makaku. But this wave and the Web Reaver are so strong, I'm not sure they'll be able to save this building.
Yeah, Makaku here, even using that lurking arm to try and get as much damage as they could. But it's going to be Johanna who's falling so low right now. And Chromie desperately gets damage over the wall. They only are 15 stacks out of those 20. And level 10 now here means the blue team can take pretty much whatever they want for a little while on this map.
Yeah, definitely nice start there from the blue team. They've built their momentum. They're going to start this boss Junkrat traps and make it so difficult to walk in. Hanzo actually, just gets vision of the Darkwolf putting W in there. Otherwise, I don't think even with the vision arrow, they would have known they were doing it. I guess it's not that difficult to predict, though, even with just the trap that they saw. They are going to get some counter pressure from Web Weavers and a mid camp here. And this is an early boss, so they're not going to get too far behind from this position, but they aren't going to get the value from the Web Reavers that they wanted. Their 10 still are not in. It's certainly not the start they would have hoped for. Chromie looking at Junkrat there a little bit, but won't get the range for this loop. Here are our ults. Are we going to see Hanzo's Dragon Strike on top of this Entomb? I would love to see that. It is going to be that. Frank is caught in the Entomb, but he is a Greymane. He will be able to jump his way out, and it's the Rocket Ride special for Makaku coming out from Coffee. Here comes the loop, though. Doesn't even need to bring them home. The shield as well. So many picks going over to the side of the red team. What a fantastic fight out of them there, and that was the teeth they needed to show in this game.
Yeah, Luca, it absolutely was. Level 10 does bring them straight into the action, and we do now see Diablo trying to make something happen on Tommy Gun. Tommy Gun is a little bit in danger. The silence perfect here for that sort of stopping the swap. The Dragon Strike coming in finally after it had been interrupted earlier by the Darkwolf, but Tommy Gun gets away with a little bit of HP, and this forward in the mid lane is not looking very healthy. In fact, some might say it has got a little amount of HP.
Yeah.
We all thought it was going to go down. Let's be honest. We all thought it was going down. Protoss, Frank, and the gang now clearing up top lane, and this has evened out the game fairly substantially.
It's alright. Chromie will throw some sand on your building in a minute, Trans. I'm sure. That'll all get sorted out. But yeah, no. has evened the game a bit, but you can see even with that massive fight, they're still down a kill. They're still down almost a full level. They're going to have to do that again. And I think the first time is achievable, but scamming a team as good as Franco's Apostles in the same way twice is really difficult. Dahaka doesn't have E up for this loop. There is going to be a cleanse afterwards, and he has dragged the Stukov. Diablo needs to be careful here. He is split from his team. The Entomb, though, not available. Cannot trap him in this hole. Oh, Stukov not quite able to catch him well enough in that silence either. Leo, though, actually setting up a really nice body block here. They're getting a lot of pressure onto Diablo. 80 health. Engine cannot kill it with a W. That doesn't hit buildings. Is going to have to kill it with a vision arrow. As Coffee went deep, but unfortunately for Eric, backed next to the wave instead of in the bush.
Wow. I mean, I love it when you do that. And my pet peeve of people is when I sell them to Hearthstone, they go to the nearest bush and they Hearthstone. Just Hearthstone where you are. If you're not in enemy vision, it's fine. They're not going to find you.
You do want to make sure you're not in enemy vision. I feel like I want to just emphasize that point.
I mean, even if you
glossed
are, what
over
are they
it,
do?
it was there, but yeah.
What are they going to do? Just the Hearthstone. Hearthstone. Be the champ that you are. Back yourself. Hearthstoning in enemy vision is good for your mental health. You heard it here first.
Oh, level 13's just around the corner, but Web Reaper's on the side of the red team. Can they get enough pressure out of this? Dahaka is getting a lot of value in that bottom lane, but the red team are electing to try and save mid whilst Chromie clears up top and makes sure the keep is absolutely fine. A huge shove, deporting the Dark Wolf back to the ruin of his mid four is going to make this a lot safer, but Makaku is stepping very high on this Stukov. It's a theme of the game, and I'm worried it's going to get punished soon. Zeus has got a Dahaka behind him. Diablo's going in. There's no Q on Diablo here. The Entomb is big. The meme strike is in. The body block. Oh no, it's been denied again. Coming in from a greater angle, but it doesn't matter. 2 picks will go down. Both Diablo and Greymane falls, and yet another rocket ride goes off without any obvious value.
Oh, the lurking arm, just milliseconds too late to find Dahaka, but it was exactly on. Those cow senses tingling, obviously, from Makaku after having delivered a
Oh, Leo has 32 gems topside, though. Can he E away? He's gone away from the team rotating up to help him, unfortunately. Eric, though, is now going to be able to run in and grab most of those gems. A really nice cleanse there is going to make sure that the Virulent isn't enough to catch the Dahaka.
This game is nail-biting. 5 kills to 5, and Franco's Apostles are ahead now. We've seen some great attempts, though, coming out from Team Norway. Additionally, we've seen Tommy Gunn be so patient with his Blessed Shield. There's been so many times where I'm like, oh, they shoved away the Diablo. It's just Blessed Shield time. But knowing they didn't have enough DPS, it was just Hanzo there. Without the Chromie, they don't want to pop their key abilities just yet.
Yeah, really good use of their ults, getting as much value as they can from this game. They set themselves up for a difficult one, but they've executed it as well as could have been as soon as those 10s came in. And now they're going to try and defend this fort. So much potential wave clear there. Making it so difficult for their opponents to siege in. Dahaka does have a bit of a flank here, but there are time traps in the bushes. He cannot get in with a surprise. 16s are so close now for the red team.
Yeah, of course. It is about 10 gems short here for the Blues, and the Reds are just holding on to theirs until they can find that advantage that they want. Level 16's now here. It's going to be those essential talents, and we actually have Leoric going for a little bit of an adaptation here. They have got auto attack on 13, but they've gone for Drain Hope on 13. Now looking for maybe a bit of a survival, as Coffee will be trying to find Zeus. Oh, the tongue actually denying the damage. Not prepared. Here, saving Zeus, and the Entomb comes down. The Dragon Strike on top of it. It's quickly burrowed underneath, and a lot of misplays happening between these two teams. Maybe it's getting a bit late for everyone here, Luca, as the damage is starting to come in from the red team.
Yeah, we haven't quite seen the synergy with the Entomb yet this game. Needs to be called, I think, a little bit earlier by Zeus. Johanna, though, has made a lot of friends, but not as many friends as Coffee. He has popped on that Junkrat, and now the blue team are quite deep with no way home. Dark Wolf will almost certainly have to sack his souls here. Leo is going to get some CC, but man, does W Diablo have some sustain. The Virulent, is it enough? Yes, it is. The souls are claimed. They have been reset. A turn-in is available, but Greymane is going to start this bottom camp, and I think the red team has rotated away too quickly here. They could have stepped up, tried to deny this, but they're not going to be in time.
I mean, they don't have Blessed Shield. There's no way of locking down anybody here right now. Dragon's Arrow could have maybe done the job, but of course they have Dragon Strike. There's some big waves, a lot of XP around the map. Red team need to go back and try and soak that up just to make sure that they get into towards a level 20. This is a fight on top of a time trap, but it was not used. Instead, we have the Dragon Strike coming out and just not quite connecting. 60 seconds on that cooldown. And what are the red team going to do with this turn-in? They're heading towards mid lane. That fort's already gone. Surely the pressure has to come in the top where Coffee's already started clearing it out.
Eric is threatening a loop, but Coffee does have Rocket Ride, so he can evade it without any extra CC. They have managed to get the position here where I think the fort has to fall. Zephyro and Dahaka not really in position to help defend, and that is going to be enough to start equalizing the map. They still have that slightly low health keep, but their mid fort does help them a little bit, and their bottom fort should fall if they can get enough pressure on here. They do need to be careful, though. Dahaka can appear behind them at any moment if they do get caught out staying here. So they're going to rotate in. Instead, they're going to try and open up mid a little bit. The wall has fallen. Oh, no, never mind. Took one look at that and went, no, thank you.
No, they do have enough for another turn in, though, the red team. So they might be trying something. Equally, the blue team are on a similar gem count in total. Red team have all their gems to lose, and Tommy Gun has 29. It's never a good feeling when your tank has so many. Zeus as well getting interrupted. That's both frontline now with the bank of red team. Meanwhile, Dahaka able to get their pay in, and it is Greymane who needs to turn in from the side of the blues.
Yeah, Protoss Frank going to rotate down now to start paying, but oh, Tommy Gun won't be able to get his gems in time, so they do need to find this. Eric has got the interrupts. Now it's a lot closer, but Johanna, unfortunately, is the pay that is necessary for that red team. The lick on Johanna could be scary, but the meme strike is early this time. The Entomb kind of traps Greymane in. Protoss Frank is going to fall here. That is 1 for now, right now. And that is the start of a potential lead for the Norwegian. Zeus running after the Dark Wolf on that Leoric. A nice silence is almost enough, but W Diablo lives for so long. And interestingly, Hanzo going for the Pierce instead of that percentage. I think Giant Killer would have been enough to take that Diablo down, but instead the Pierce option means that he was able to survive.
It feels like a million years ago now, but Virulent Reaction actually was the whole reason they were able to get that kill. Zephyro had to use High Five on Greymane earlier in that fight, and it enabled Tommy Gun to save their Blessed Shield for a great opportunity, and Dragon Strike and Entomb to follow it up without Greymane having a chance of leaving because High Five had been used earlier. Speaking of which, Temporal Loop were used on Junkrat, quickly forcing this Rocket Ride, which is going to do a bit of damage on this mid objective. However, that keep is gone, Luca.
Yeah, keep falls. Dahaka trying to get the flank, but the lick will not connect. And now red team are just going to rotate into this top lane. Their 20s are slightly earlier. They're going to have Entomb up. They've got the upgrade to Dragon Strike, Bless Shield and Entomb both upgraded. Tommy Gun just needs to shield the building when Leo is close enough to follow up, and this could all crumble for the red team. The shove on to Dahaka is going to buy some space. I feel like I want Tommy Gun to start pulling the trigger. Cleanses out on Diablo, but it looks like they're going to back away. I don't know. I'd have gone. I'd have disked it. Chucked a frisbee, saw what happened.
Well, with level 20 as well, it is just hitting so many people with such a long stun. It's a very good upgrade for Johanna. And Lucio's discussing what they want to go on level 20. Are they going to go for a little bit of an unkillable angle to maybe try and get somebody out of a Chromie combo? Feels a little bit tricky with this team of who can actually get advantage of that. But oh, a great Hellgate means that Diablo gets out of danger for the time being. A High Five keeps them alive for a lot longer, but it is going to be a Virulent Reaction with a great bit of CC. Diablo goes down. They will be back soon with very few souls. However, this blue team is trying to still find what opportunities they can now that the red team have blown their cooldowns. Stukov gets taken down. Jahaka is traded, but so many of the red team are low. The Dark Wolf is looking for the angle. Will they find it as they flip him away from the Junkrat trap? Hanzo is able to get out. Meanwhile, Lucio does go down in trades for Leoric, but Hanzo not able to escape death this time. It's a complete bloodbath, but I think the blue team are quite happy with that trade in the end.
3 for 2 when the dust clears, but Chromie and Johanna are potentially very strong here. Oh, Tommy Gun not quite able to get the interrupt out there.
It's so much damage. You forget the Rocket Ride really does hit like a truck, and if you're able to connect it, it can do the work. Chromie there now having to go back to the Hall of Storms.
Yeah, no, definitely. Despite getting that fight win, I guess they got space of the Web Reavers, but the blue team not really generating much. They're technically behind, but I think functionally fine right now. It's about as even as it's going to get, but the Leoric in the late game means that the red team get a lot more opportunity to go looking, right? I do think they have a slight edge through that, but the Lucio is such a powerful factor in these late game team fights. Maybe that's enough to balance it out. This mid 4 is going to fall eventually. The mid keep, though, should be fine. Junkrat, you can see Coffee, is just interested in pushing in that top keep. His build is all about being able to step away, get that pressure, and if he does get caught out by the loop, the Rocket Ride is there to keep him safe.
Yeah, we do have, by the way, on level 16 for them, the Endless Nades. The talent that Endless didn't take earlier. They instead took the Spread Volley. As we do have in the bot lane, this blue team trying to open up the bot lane, trying to make sure that Franco's Egg Fossils have a keep on this Tomb of the Spider Queen game. But so much decent wave clear now. We are in late game stages with Chromie, Hanzo, and of course Leoric. They're able to mop up these objectives.
Yeah, no, very nicely done. Not losing a keep to that turn-in is a real blow for the blue team. They really needed to get some value. Now that bottom lane isn't pushing as hard as they want. They can use the Hucker to push it out a bit. I don't like that they've got Coffee down here. I think they're worried that it could be looped, but Coffee cannot global up to this boss, and red team could potentially start threatening that or start threatening a fight. Coffee, though, he says, fight us all you want. We don't care. We're just going to start running away. But Dark Wolf cannot get cleansed. Oh, no. They didn't cleanse the first one, and then they were CC'd out of cleansing the second one. Tank falling as well, and I think the position might have crumbled. 3 against 5, trying to stop their opponents from ending. Coffee is going to half here. I would have liked to see him just rocket ride the core for some damage, but I don't think it would have been enough as the red team are marching into this core. They need to be killed now. Protoss Frank needs to find the angle. Coffee is going to try and rocket ride, but it's never enough. 50%, 40%. The core is falling, and this is going to be Team Norway taking map number 1 in this first playoff final, Transparent.
Woo! Yes, indeed. As I look for the buttons. Team Norway taking game number 1. And what a twist and turn. We are definitely seeing a very even team here.
But it's not enough just to get that position. You really want to be in the top 2. You want to make sure that you are not starting off in the lower part in that losers bracket, but that you have a nice winners match, potentially winning the whole thing with just 2 game victories. And even if you do lose, coming into that tournament in a nice friendly position. So if you do win early, you want to make sure you get yourself signed back up. Of course, every Tuesday we have our qualifiers. As soon as we go live with a qualifier, the next sign-ups are available on the Heroes Lounge website. So you can find it on the little events tag. If you're familiar with the Nexus Rumble, you'll be familiar with where to find it. If not, links have been periodically popping up in the chat, and there is another one there. Grab yourself, sign up for number 2. No, I had it on my clipboard already. Haven't copied anything since the last time.
It's all good.
So far the same bands, though. Look at that.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
no Syl for Eric, no Genji for Frank.
Rainy Eric, of course, was GM #1 and pretty much solely from playing Sylvanas in that time period. And yeah, so definitely has to be there. Look at Luca's Movember mustache. I mean, Luca, you have a mustache basically underneath all of that.
I guess we could shave the beard and then it will look more moustachey.
I mean, that's a you decision, not one for me.
We could potentially shave the beard on Saturday and then shave the moustache on Sunday. And then I'm not at work with just because working with young adults and having a moustache.
It's all fun and games.
It's a look. Fun. It's a look, isn't it? Yeah, no. He did do that. What a bug abuser, taking advantage of that damage on the third stack. Unbelievable bad sportsmanship there. I should warn you now that this is a year and a bit of growth, so it might not improve as much as you're hoping, Hamas Falas.
Okay, well, we have mine that will be growing throughout the month. We'll see how bushy it gets, as we had Stukov banned out against the Makaku. And of course, the Hacker now picked by Not Prepared with Anduin and Li Ming. Li Ming, this is one of those maps where you can pick Li Ming quite early. Yeah, she does get a lot of value. And Rainy Day Eric will be looking to try and make that happen. Still, Franco's Egg Postles can try and draft around it now. And they can.
I think we have to see Hanzo come out from them here. My guess is that the Hacker pick means they're gambling Ming or Hanzo, and they don't mind which one they give and which one they get. And it looks like Eric wanted that Ming. Surely, though, you can't let them play Hanzo Ming. Maybe they will? Coffee's going to go Valor instead. Is this going to be supporty?
I mean, Diablo obviously very, very good into the Li Ming. I think it's a great pickup on this map as well. There's lots of good places that you can find the angles for Diablo. That's popping that Soul Shield off can work very nicely. Of course, we will have predictions up and available very, very soon for you all. I've got the button here. Don't you worry. And then you can all get your predictions in for Team Norway. I know there's a lot of Norwegian fans out there, but surely there's some Franco's Egg Postles fans out there.
You've got a Shirley in your chat? That's very cool.
Shirley's there.
Yeah, she is. She's watching. She's supporting Franco's Egg Postles.
So Lucio banned. Is this indicative of potentially a Varian pick? So will we see a Varian ban?
Or is it indicative of Lucio being really strong last game? I think that might be more plausible. I like the Johanna ban. I think that they're fine into Varian. I'm surprised it's not a Hanzo ban. Maybe I'm overvaluing here, but I think Hanzo Ming is so oppressive to have to play into on Battlefield of Eternity. But maybe they've got a plan for it. Maybe they're dangling it in front of their opponents and saying, "Go on, Hanzo Ming into us and see what happens."
Well, sensibly, they are leaving that to the last pick because I think Protoss Frank would have an answer to do some decent damage into the backline. Even though Genji and Zeratul both banned out, of course, there are still some heroes that you can do some good backline annihilation.
There is the risk, though, that Frank just takes the Hanzo for himself. There might be a Zarya line. It could be Stukov or Rhaegar and Zarya. It's going to be...
Luca, the Thrall coming out. Look at Luca's little face here, beaming away as Thrall is picked.
It's Green Jesus. He's the one. How many points do I have on your channel? 12k.
You've got to save them for the rest of the month, Luca, but yeah, get some in there on the Egg Postles. I can't predict. I can predict on the Heroes Lounge channel, but here I could predict using the Heroes Lounge.
Can I predict using? I don't know. It doesn't want to let me. There it is. There it is.
I'll do the results. So don't you worry about that. Predictions are available for another 8 minutes, which is going to be partially into this game. Hanzo has been picked up last, and I do quite like this. You know, against Thrall. Thrall is great at shutting down frontliners, but not so great at getting to that backline unless he finds the flank.
I find okay, bit of a Thrall picker over here. Shoot me. I find on Battlefield of Eternity, it's very easy to find those windows and find those flags. I am worried about Hanzo Ming. I think Arrow Ming stuff with the Muradin to go from range and the light bomb on top of it could be a massive threat. But I do think that the Thrall is likely to be a big problem for the Hanzo and for the Ming if the fight steps up too far. And of course, if they do get a good start to the engage, Sundering can really shut them down.
Well, let's see how they do in game number 2 here. It's Franco's Egg Postles. They need to win this to stay in the series. It's a Firo on Rhaegar. The Dark Wolf on that Diablo. TV Coffee on the Valor. Not prepared on the Dahaka. And Thrall is played by Protoss Frank.
And on the red team, they are a map win away from winning the first qualifier and being one step closer to owning their own little egg cups. Makaku is on the Anduin. Tommy Gun is your Merlin. Engine is on Hanzo. Zeus on the Blaze. And a Rainy Day Eric on Li Ming.
Yeah, so obviously we've had Fredo here in the chat saying he likes how much the Thrall can manhandle tanks. And that is absolutely true. If they can get a good CC combination going onto this Muradin in the front line, once TV Coffee has picked up a bit more damage, they should be able to really get through Muradin's health bar.
Yeah, Muradin's not the best tank for manhandling. Unfortunately, he can stun you. He can run from you. It's fine. The block charges as well are like really sad for your overall damage output. But the Blaze on a flank, if Thrall finds the angle Blaze wants to play for, it's massive. But Li Ming getting caught there by that Thrall route, playing from the angles, using those bushes. 100 health when she was gripped away there by Makaku. And that is the threat that they have got. That is what they are looking to do to impose upon their opponents.
Barely a leap of faith, more like a hop of justice. I don't know. I didn't think of a different word for faith, but
Smashed
yeah. I'm usually great with these, but you know, it's been a long day. As we have had, that was a necessary cleanse there from Makaku.
Necessary and then some. And half second later, and I think Makaku is very dead. Tommy Gun needs to be careful here. The blue team should have sniffed out this rotation to top camp. The question is whether they want to do anything about it. And I think they're saying, we got our camp first. We're just going to hit your wall. Your wall's going to die quicker than our wall. I like this. I think their comp is way better at 10. I think their comp is even before 10. They don't necessarily need to get into that uber late game of 20s when Li Ming gets her full power spike. Of course, her damage, unlike everyone else's in the game, scales at a slightly higher percentage. So every level is also a slight damage buff for Li Ming. I'm not a nerd. What do you mean? So they really want this nice quick game before Eric has enough scaling to really punish.
Yeah, of course, these minions are pushing in quite heavily in the bot lane. So that's really good work for the blue team. But level 4s are now here. So we are going to start to see Diablo have a bit of sustain as well, which means in these messy team fights, they can come out a little less bruised than they have been in the past. But for now, it is just a case of soaking up. Will we have a quick objective phase here, Luca, or do you think these teams are going to be playing it very patiently? There's some decent races, Hanzo and Valor. So what are your thoughts? Are we off to the races?
Valor pre-7 race is very sad. If we do just race, red team almost certainly win the first one. Looks like they're going to play for Zeus here really efficiently. Can't quite get him. Grip actually used, though. Getting a grip is getting a kill into Anduin when you have a comp like this. So they're going to be quite happy. They aren't going to have a position to race from just yet. The Dahaka is just going to kind of chip away. He's putting the clock on. This is not too dissimilar to him essentially soaking the wave with the dig threat. He's done a little bit. Not too much, not enough. There is the disadvantage right now that the red team camp is being pushed in, although the Dahaka has licked that quite easily under towers. And now the fight is moving up. Coffee has to be careful here, though. Is almost done by the Immortal. Oh, you could see him not being confident at first, but he went for it. He is a little bit lost, but Li Ming was caught by that Dahaka, and now the blue team are marching forwards. The Green Jesus putting so much pressure onto the enemy team here. Thrall so impactful. And there are 4 other heroes as well.
Yeah, they are doing superbly. They've won this first half of the race, and obviously now with Li Ming only coming back from the respawn, they should be able to confirm this very, very swiftly. Red team looking like they're going to have to defend against the Mortal in the top side, and Dahaka is just easily going to go. They're going to go walk straight down to bot lane because they want to be pressuring this other fort in this other lane. Blaze is going to have their work cut out because, I mean, Dahaka could be joined by another member of the blue team if they really wanted to push the advantage.
Definitely true. Yeah, no, I lied a bit about the Li Ming scaling. I remembered it wrong.
Yeah, I did think. I think it's Greymane who used to scale higher than Li Ming.
Li Ming scales under on her talents and over on her ults. But in another thing I've been doing, she scales differently. And I was confused.
Oh.
She does scale weird, though.
All fun and games for Li Ming, as we do have this Immortal getting shredded by those Hanzo arrows. I think this is the thing, you know, they've got 2 ranged DPSs who do a fair amount, but it's a good stun here onto Tommy Gun. Tommy Gun's in a lot of danger, but the root not quite there to be able to lock him down, and a quick Dwarf Toss gets him out of danger. But still, you know, with all these minions, Li Ming's not been able to put the damage onto the Immortal that they quite like, and their Forge does go down here in the top lane, much to my surprise.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure, right? And you did point out yourself, Li Ming Hanzo is very weak in a wave. In the open space, in those long fights, it's incredibly potent. But especially with the forced W build from the map, it doesn't quite have the wave build that it wants. As Tommy Gun, again, is the target of this high damage comp. They can just run in and kill in these fast moments, and Muradin is not safe. But in their favor, Coffee only 8 stacks on his Q right now. Not going to be as high damage as he could be. We're seeing their talents come online, and when they get their arrow, when Li Ming picks up her ult for that extra damage, they might be able to burst their way through this Thrall, though maybe only for a little bit, as the new spell power for Thrall on 13 is incredibly good, and into the double mage, I think Protoss Frank might never die.
Yeah, we certainly could see some sustain coming out from this blue team. Necessary cleanse, good body block by the Dark Wolf. Zeus now in a little bit of trouble themselves. Roots coming out from Protoss Frank as Tommy Gun goes in to try and find something. Level 10's not yet here for either teams, and the red team have rotated all of their members down to try and find something. Blaze finds the stun on Valor, but the rest of the red team had backed away already. This wave just getting in the way of Li Ming and Hanzo and what they want to do. And with that, level 10 is here, the Immortals are spawning, and the red team are on that spiral staircase, the slide, the helter-skelter of BOE, of when one team is ahead, it just seems like there's no opportunity to get back in, as Makaku rotates in the wrong direction. Great catch out here from the Blues. And it takes me back to one time where I played Battlefield Eternity and basically called, I think the enemy team are going to be here, walked into a bush and instantly died.
I've done that before, into a mind control Sylvanas. Didn't win.
It doesn't win games, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, it turns out rotating where enemies are not very strong. Very strong, though, is Diablo in this engage. Zeus unable to hold that point. He is going to go down, and I think the House of Cards is crumbling right now for Team Norway, as Franco's Egg Apostles are pushing their way through this map. The race is so good out of Coffee on that Valor, and the Thrall so useful. Diablo bullying his way onto that point there as well. Very clean, very nicely played.
Yeah, that's a really healthily shielded Immortal here coming out from the blue team. So Hacker still trying to put some pressure in this top lane as well. They're going to be clearing out those minions, looking to force Zeus to stay in the top lane or challenge to lose a keep. But as the Immortal makes his way to the bot lane, the red team now have an opportunity to throw a few orbs through skill shots, but this fort is all but gone.
Yeah, definitely the fort. The keep wall is probably under threat as well. That is full health. Here comes the dig. Might have been just a little bit later than it wanted to be. Stun on Dahaka is good. Not prepared, though. Is very happy to just sort of wander up to the top lane. And I wouldn't be surprised. Well, actually, no. Blaze did get a wave, so I think they are forced to stay down here. No real opportunity to pressure topside. As Coffee stepping up for those autos. A little bit of bait dangled by this Protoss Frank string. Anyone stepping up there is going to get sundered out. And there is the Sunder. The front line are in danger. There is a bunker. The arrow is only short. Tommy Gun has to jump away to safety. Another explosive fight, but Zeus, has he gone too deep with that E? They're going to try and play for him. The light bomb is enough of a dissuasion, but Anduin in the confusion found the Thrall-based friend, and that Thrall was not as friendly as they hoped. That is going to be the keep falling. No healer is left on the side of the red team. 10 seconds away means they probably cannot end here, but they are going to put themselves in a huge lead, Transparent.
You could almost see the excitement on the players' models. You know, they're hugging that keep, getting ready to go straight for that core should the opportunity present them itself. But yes, they have had to back away. Level 13s to 11. And, you know, we saw so many of the aggressive tools of the red team have to be used in defense. That Dragon's Arrow, you said it, it was short. It just was there to peel for Muradin and Blaze, who had been knocked asunder, perhaps, by the Thrall.
Oh, yes, potentially. Just look at Frank's rotation here as well, hoping someone's going to pop up, try and play for Saphira. But Norway, they know what you do when you fall behind. 5 heroes stand in a bush and you wait. And unfortunately, the bush was not where the enemy team were going to be, and they do now have to step up to defend their building.
Is Protoss Frank the Franco of Franco's Eggs Fossils?
I mean, that was always my guess.
I have never made that connection. I've cast them many times in the Rumble, and I have only just realized that it is...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream, Transparent.
Protoss Franco's Egg Fossils.
That's the one. I don't actually know if he's called Frank, Protoss Frank, but it doesn't really matter.
Are you honest about that?
No.
You're not Frank?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
As we see Sunder catch up!
Rule again!
It's a flip over there, and meanwhile Li Ming was caught out somewhere else, but they are able to get the kill on the Dahaka. I don't know where that Li Ming was, as we do see a kill for 2 kills. Zeus and Muradin down in the bot lane obviously did something, but yeah, this is level 13 now here for the red team, and with 2 heroes down, Dahaka of course able to burrow back should they want. The blue team are just going to potentially be picking up another full shield immortal.
Yeah, and with this lead that they are building, it's going to take an almighty fight here. Eric thinking for a minute almost about that glass cannon, not going for it in the end there, but still putting out an incredible amount of damage. But oh no, Muradin has been caught out again here. The Trans 16s are in, and I think the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is where the pressure starts to come in. Those little bits of additional damage. That Alpha Wolf from Thrall means that nobody is going to be able to step up. And even after we just saw Muradin get blown away, Blaze is going to be the next target, especially as they don't have bunker available.
Yeah, definitely. Gonna try and play for them if they can, but Muradin is at least up now. The mercy of being so low leveled is they do have these short death timers, and there is still a keep in the way, but Sundering such a short cooldown, gonna be available again. And in goes the Dark Wolf. The arrow on Thrall, not gonna be enough. Sundering does actually connect through even with that initial stun. Down goes Muradin, so squishy when Thrall has levels. Frank though falling so low on the Thrall, thought to be unkillable. The hero does fall 1 for 1. Eric trying so hard to run away through all of this CC. He does get out, but Lukaku cannot, and with the healer down and a shielded immortal running towards the core, Green Jesus may have sacrificed himself so others may be able to realize their true potential. Transparent.
Yeah, 2 heroes down, and the red team desperately trying to do something. Hanzo falls. The immortal still got shields, and it is wailing on this core. This series is evening up. The Eggs Cup is one of the most exciting tournaments here in Heroes of the Storm, and we are seeing this qualifier go to an even tie.
When Transparent said to me, let's watch as many games as possible today, I thought, yeah, that'll be fun. And we have had the maximum number of possible maps on this stream. Transparent still, by the way, not forgiven for Team Are You Okay? Haunts us to this day. Though I do have to admit, if I'm viable for Team UK, maybe the Brits do have a problem.
What? I've not been forgiven for what?
Don't worry, I'll DM you later.
I wasn't in a UK team, was I? Don't believe so. Anyway, we'll see how that goes a bit later. I don't even remember that. I don't remember that, Luca. Luca sent me a message. But yeah. As we have our bans come out, it's Genji and Zeratul once again. The predictions will be up and available very, very soon here, and you'll be predicting who is going to be winning Qualifier 1 here.
Coffee. Look at that. The bans are so fixed at this point. I think that they're just very, very certain here are Norwegians. They don't know what their opponents want to play, and I do like this Dukov adjustment. Makaku has been known to play Dukov at a high level before, but this time Dahaka belongs to into the Nor weaklings. Will that be enough? Who knows? Maybe Thrall will get picked and the game will be decided in draft.
Yeah, Dahaka, of course, has been prevalent in a lot of games today, and here on Garden of Terror, it can work very, very well. Still, Diablo has been non-stop picked by the Dark Wolf, and I wonder if we'll get some sort of adaptation here from Norway. Maybe they'll pick up the Thrall, because I'm pretty sure that it does very good against Diablo.
Yeah, we're gonna see Blaze and Rhaegar coming out early. Lots of macro. I think that the Dahaka is a big threat on Garden because the game does tend to go long, and you really don't want to have to macro against the Dahaka for that long of a time. So they're hoping to, deal with this early, get as much macro pressure as they can, be on the front foot. So the Dahaka is buying them back, but doubling down. We're gonna see Diablo stolen away, and we're gonna see that Falstad picked up here as well. Lots of global threat, and Tommy Gun is going to take Diablo before Darkwolf can get his hands on it.
Now, what do you ban here now? Diablo has a lot of things that makes his life fairly miserable in some scenarios, and picking up before the bans obviously gives you a time to ban out something. Are they going to be banning out a Garrosh? Are they going to be banning out a Thrall? Or is it going to be a Tychus? Maybe even a Leoric? Wouldn't likely to be a Leoric, but
I think Greymane, if not Garrosh, would be my go-to. The Garrosh is a very, very obvious option if Diablo wants to be able to be aggressive, but Diablo can manage that tank matchup so long as he's careful. Greymane gives them so much macro pressure. Frank has shown it already on Tomb when it didn't even really look that on. I think if you want something to keep your Diablo safe removed, it's probably going to be Frank's Greymane. But it's actually Illidan. It's going to get removed here. Worried about a little bit of a swap, I guess. Not prepared. Must play Illidan if he's called not prepared. And I bet Frank can pull it out as well.
I mean, yeah, Garden of Terror, sometimes you get sort of two offlaners. It's going to be a Zagara as that second offlanery sort of thing. That additional pressure on the map. Additionally, that's big percentage damage. The tank pick here being a Nubarak is quite bold, but obviously allows them to flex that last slot and sort of instigates that they do want to have some level of aggression. They're not just going to have slow poke like the Zagara.
Yeah, I am worried a little bit about what their follow-up is. I think the Greymane might be the most obvious choice because the Anub is very explosive, but Zagara is not going to be following that with damage. So what is Frank going to be given to follow those engages and try and pick some potent kills off?
Well, we've got Chromie here as well. We had some great success with that temporal loop earlier on, but have they got enough of a follow-up with just the Falstad there? Maybe it will be Q build, but it's often AA, especially against the Nubarak. And it is going to be Greymane. Absolutely right. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's a threat onto Diablo and equally a threat onto Falstad and Lucio. Protoss Frank has played Go for the Throat as well in the past, if I recall correctly.
He could go for some throats here. It'd be interesting to see if Lucio goes for shields or high five. I think high five into a Nubarak is more obvious, but without any big burst healing, Go for the Throat might just kill Lucio, Falstad, or Chromie if they're not careful. I like this. I think that it gives Protoss Frank the opportunity to have a lot of dictating in how this game is going to go.
Well, thank you for following Troubles X. I hope you have been enjoying the Eggs Cup here tonight. Yes, me and Luca are looking forward to this last game here. Make sure you get your predictions in. No one's predicted yet. So do you think Norway are going to be taking the series, or will Franco's Eggpostles almost guarantee themselves that spot in the grand finals? Let's find out as we get into game number 3 here of the Eggs Cup Movember edition. And here in blue, Luca, it is
Franco's Egg Apostles. We've got Sephiroth for the last time bringing out that Rhaegar. The Dark Wolf had his Diablo stolen. He's had to play a Nubarak Coffee on the Zagara, as well as Blaze being played by Not Prepared, leaving Protoss Frank, the best looking Norwegian, on the Greymane.
And on the other Norwegians on this map, we have Team Norway with Tommy Gun on Diablo, Chromie played by Rainy Day Eric, Makaku on Lucio, Dahaka played by Zeus, and Falstad here on the bot lane is Engine. And let's get started here as Zagara has already started to put a lot of damage in this bot lane. They have gone for that Bile Drop upgrade here to try and get a bit more damage every so often. Those giving a bit more health does mean that they can get a bit more occasional siege damage.
I think the bile drop is mainly for the late game when you have roaches that are going to shred Diablo's health bar. You don't want them to accidentally die to random stuff. So more health means that they live longer in the fight and they are just generally more annoying. Also, CDR means you get to do more damage. I have seen some Infest Zagara popping up, but I feel like it misses the core idea of why Zagara is strong. You're already good enough in lane without it, and now with that E talent, you get a lot more potential to poke out tanks and really be a nuisance in the late game.
Yeah, not prepared, and Zeus trading out a little bit here at the top lane. And with the objective spawning in the bot, we are expecting to see Zeus stay here as long as they can. So red team are prepping their bruiser camp to maybe try and make their assault in this top lane. However, Protoss, Frank and Coffee are going to be shredding structures with the bruiser camp. They have to be ready for that, and not rotating the Chromie down earlier feels like they might be in for a little bit of a shock.
They are going to try and trade a bit here, but I don't think they're going to win this trade. Blaze has really quite good clear, and is probably not afraid. And you can see Lucio and Chromie are now coming down, but it's going to be too late for the wall.
Oh!
And it might even be too late for the fort. Diablo does catch Frank, but Frank can get into a position where he's not targeted by the fort. Dahaka is digging in behind. They're going to try and collapse 5v4. But in the spell power, are they going to be okay? A cleanse is going to see Coffee walking away, and with the wall down, this big rotation and abuse of a global is just not going to net Norway anything. In fact, the wave is still there as Dahaka starts to leave, and now our blue team can press forward even harder. There's a camp in the mid lane. There's pressure on the top lane. Franco's egg postles own the map right.
Yeah, and a quick little time trap means the Coffee was in a bit of danger, and Tommy Gun went forward to try and find it, but a good kill here from the blue team is still furthering this endless siege they want to be putting on in this bot lane. Zagara dropping down the minions, has that, and a good stun means the Makaku in a little bit of danger, but able to push off the healing fountain means that they get to safety. I mean, this has been such an enormous trade. I can't believe Dahaka landed the tongue in all those minions, but honestly, what an incredible push here from the blue team.
Yeah, they definitely got a lot more early pushing power with that Greymane Zagara and the Anubarak. Means that when they do set up like this, if the red team aren't in position, they can take a lot of damage. I think all told, the red team should be quite happy that their fort is still standing. Just taking about a third of your damage on the fort, still leaving it with 10k. You're not the least happy you've ever been with that. Things have gone a lot worse than they're about, or than they could do. Not prepared. It's being bullied by Zeus up here in the top lane. He might go down here.
Immaculate play by Zeus, by the way. Immaculate Dahaka play. Absolutely the right thing to do. Using their dodge, getting the knockback to keep them there, and then body blocking the Blaze from escaping at all. Rainy Derek just a few seconds too late as Protoss Rank was able to get this siege camp. And, well, I think the red team are more than happy to try and clear it out, but they are now very, very deep as Tommy Gun on the wrong side of this. But as a Diablo, you don't ever really mind being on the wrong side of a team as long as you have your abilities up.
I mean, there's levels, but yeah, the new Beetles are particularly helpful at giving him a little escape option if he does need it. But in the end, he was absolutely fine to just walk out. He was waiting till he saw that stun from a Nubrak so he could show up. Now, we're going to see playing over this second deed up here in topside. Greymane has been trapped, but Protoss Frank will be able to run away from that. Dark Wolf has been caught out a little bit by Tommy Gun, but the engage on Makaku. Oh no! What a fantastic turnaround from the Dark Wolf, escaping and killing at the same time. Lick does connect onto Protoss Frank, but it's not going to be enough to get anything done here, as I think Zephyro might have purged the enemy tank as he tried to cleanse there. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like I saw the animation. It
was all a big nerf that allowing them to cleanse on enemies. Just meant that so many more misclicks are able to be happened. Oh, yeah. But yes, a good kill against Lucio has allowed the blue team to have that little bit of advantage. And we talked about how Frankel's apostles are so much better in the early game generally. We've seen their play be very, very clean and being able to do something. It's the damage in the late game that allows the red team to come back in. Rainy Day Eric in a little bit of trouble, but Tommy Gun here opening the door like a true gentleman for the Chromie.
Oh, but maybe Anub has gone in too deep here. The cleanse is early. He's not going to have E for this loop, and he will go down. Fantastic counter engage as the seed has not yet been played for. And oh no, The cows have come in and they've made sure that there's no internet for our Lucio
Up
player.
here on Tuesday. You're here for the grand finals as we wait for our teams to get back into the game. We'll be here next Tuesday, starting at 7 CET.
Yes, 1900 CET if you're a bit of a military person. Nice bit of poke here. Tens are actually in for the blue team, but it looks like they're going to accept the position is lost. Noob is still dead. Not prepared, is prepared to make this last as long as possible. But with 3 different people capping, they are able to stop the single Blaze over the wall from denying. It's so funny to me that Blaze can just hold that for such a long period of time.
I mean, it's a busted hero. It's an absolutely busted hero.
No, they nerfed it. It's fine now.
It's all fine. It's all fine.
It's bounced.
Level 10's here now for both teams, as we've said. Gus coming in. High five is going to be vital for keeping people alive. Of course, there is that cocoon on the other side. And let us not forget the devouring maw. So it is usable on unstoppable enemies. That high five is going to be doing nothing. They're going to be in there high-fiving each other as they are devoured by the Zerg. But speaking of being devoured, this fort, its health bar is going down rapidly. And the blue team desperately want to get some sort of structure advantage as Zeus tries to find Coffee, able to connect the tongue where Coffee had nowhere to go. Tommy Gun following up, and Zafiro might also be in danger. Temporal Loop used just for additional cooldown at this moment in time. But a good kill here for Norway to get back into the game.
Yeah, Cleanse not available for that tongue, and unfortunately, Darkwolf not able to land the CC. They are going to try and play for Falstad, but again, that Nubarak engage just a little bit too predictable. The bed of barbs not giving him any more speed on that E engage.
So Blaze up in the top, trying to just do some macro work. And as this game is feeling a little more equal than game number 2, the red team could have a chance to put their late game strategies into play. Tommy Gun on this Diablo has been aggressive, have been trying to find things. Lucy, of course, is ready to enable that. But do they really have that insane damage that we've seen from Norway's late games? It's no Mephisto, right? Chromia Falstad. I mean, they've gone Q Falstad, Luca.
Yeah, they've got a lot of single target burst if they get it locked down, and they've got the loop to kind of allow the Falstad Q and the Chromie damage to hit the same place. There's also that X factor of Gust, and interestingly, Diablo is playing the burst damage APOC style, so Tommy Gun's trying to help with that as well. Protoss Frank is going to get cleansed, but they're going to play for Zafiro instead here. Had to be nearby the Greymane to get that cleanse. They're getting the Ancestral as well for loop. Not a bad trade.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely take Ancestral for Loop every day of the year. Loop's such a shorter cooldown compared to this big heal that Rhaegar had to use on themselves and get themselves away. So right now, 2 seeds to 1 for the red team, but this one's right on the other side. And Zafiro is getting the channel through. Oh, but not before Tommy Gun can interrupt. However, they are so deep. They have so little opportunity, and without that W build, they have so little sustain. It's a good maw. Zeus is caught on the wrong side of it. Falstad is in a little bit of trouble. It's not prepared. Looks to try and follow up. It doesn't manage to stun Engine this time. But the red team are a whole member down, and the whole health bar of Zeus is pretty much gone, as the rest of the red team will now have to retreat. Lucio putting on the speed. Diablo is back with a lot less souls, but Protoss Frank tries to get the channel, is interrupted by Chromie.
Yeah, lots of great poke coming out of Rainy Day Eric here, but unfortunately, when you're using your spells to poke, you can't follow up, and so the catch on the Darkwolf didn't get the value they wanted. But it looks like they might have secured themselves a seed. The blue team too afraid to go in and contest this with members low. If they lose this fight here, it could be really bad. Blaze is actually going to go down here, and they're going to get seed with a pick. This is fantastic for our blue team right now. Oh, blue team for our red team right now. We're late enough in the evening that we're functionally colorblind.
Yes.
But we're going to march in on some forts. I think they're green. I don't know. Maybe it's purple. Colors are weird.
Yeah, it's just our tongues that are colorblind as we say the wrong words every so often. But yeah, this is sort of what we're talking about. Team Norway, if they have an even fight towards the late games, they just seem to be able to make those decisions correctly. Whereas, of course, if that advantage spirals out of control, the blue team are so much better at ending the game. However, it feels like Norway have got their claws in here. This will reset the seed counter, of course. How much value can they get? They're looking to get a lot of mid fort, a lot of top fort, but bot fort has been completely defended by the Blues.
Yeah, they're going to get a top for free, but that is all they're going to get for now. You can see that they're sharking around. They're not showing. They want their opponents to come down and try and push in that bottom lane, or they're just going to take away that hard camp and try and do it themselves. They've only got 1 seed against them right now, so they're not in a terrible position on the seed count. A noob getting trapped there is going to secure them this camp, but I don't think they're going to get any value from it.
Really?
We are seeing a little bit of an XP lead, though, for the blue team, which is a nice little bit of a compensation for their lost objective.
Yeah, of course, all those waves get pushed out, and the red team did clump together. It's something that, you can utilize. If you have an XP lead, or you have the advantage, you can sort of say, look, this gives us the opportunity to stay as 5 and try and make some sort of snowball happen. But blue team able to keep it safe, not lose any heroes, and have just been soaking all those waves individually. Keeps them ahead in XP. However, Luca, we have seen some mistakes happen in the past. And with level 16 now here, the blue team could try and find someone caught out on the red team.
Yeah, it's definitely not over by any means. The map is actually really even. I think those seeds nor weaklings needed to kind of reset themselves back into the game, but if the blue team do pick this seed up, which is favored for them, they've got the fort and they've got some pressure in the off lane, or they've got the position in the off lane. That would be great. Not prepared though. He is way too deep. That is a dead Blaze.
When you say that, Makaku, I think, has disconnected once again. We'll see what the red team do as they look scared. No, Makaku's back. It's fine. Blaze, though, in a lot of trouble here. And with Bunker used, it is lights out for them. Still, blue team unfazed by this. Sends Zagara right down bot lane, clears the wave quickly, and looking to put pressure on those external keep structures.
Yeah, they are going to just about pull off... Oh, they're going to pull off the fast cap of this seed. Red team choosing to take the fort instead. They've still not got that XP lead, although clearing up these waves that got pushed in might help with that. Coffee backing in the bush. I think he's going to get away with that one. Very nice for him. But this now means that there is a 4 advantage in 2 lanes for the red team versus 1 for the blue. So that extra pressure, top and mid, is going to put a larger clock on the blue team, especially because Dahaka can sit in the bottom lane and deal with any catapult pressure that might start to build. So we're going to have to see them look to be very aggressive, very clean, and very precise in the way they fight. Positives: Corrosive Saliva is online. Zagara is now one of the best tank killers in the game. Whoops, didn't see that one coming, did ya? So they might be able to take some fights in ways that you might not have expected them to work before. Whereas Greymane was super necessary to kill anyone in the past. Now not so much, but oh no, Dark Wolf's walked into a trap. He's got his E off before anything else went wrong for him there. But a very scary moment, could have gone incredibly poorly for him.
So red team now just rotating slowly around. They're sending Falstad up top, it seems. Engine now maybe trying to get a surprise here on Coffee. Not prepared, was in the flank, but Zeus able to sniff them out. Might look for a tongue here. This team fight very, very split as Zeus able to dodge out on anything there. Meanwhile, Tommy Gun gets a big chunk of their HP taken out by a cursed bullet. No one quite looking at the seed. Of course, red team want to take it away from the blue team, and blue team want to take it just for this objective pressure. But they're ahead in XP right now. They are trying to do some level of macro, even though they are down an additional 4 compared to the red team.
Well regrouped there by the Norwegians. As Darkwolf is going in. Zeus ISOs onto the Zagara. The loop is out, but so is the Gust. Apot comes down. Diablo's in the cocoon before he can do anything about it. Eric is going to be able to cap the seed in the back of all of this.
I was wondering
Very
why
nice.
Nobody was dying, Luca, and it was just because Eric was channeling the objective rather than doing any damage. I was like,
Eric,
red
why
team,
didn't you murder them all?
it's looking good here for the red team. Oh, they just claimed the objective. And I mean, sometimes that's the play. Sometimes that's the strategy. And blue team have rotated all of their members down here. And that's where Zeus was lurking, but the rest of the red team not coming to respond.
Yeah, they're actually going to use this camp to try and pressure the keep wall. I like this. They definitely... they're not happy with the map state right now, so they don't just want to chill. They don't, I suppose, really want to play into this double loop before 20 if they don't have to, but they are going to get as far away as possible. Is the double loop bug back?
Have you? Well, we don't... yeah, I suppose it is, because there's a nice graphical glitch on the Dark Wolf, isn't there?
Yeah.
I hope that only we could see that.
Yeah, I hope so too. That would be sad otherwise. Oh, Coffee! Oh, no. Zagara getting absolutely caught out there. This fight is going terribly wrong. Sefiro isn't... Well, maybe he is going to be able to find his way home. Oh, squeaking his way through the smallest of gaps. Only one pick going over. But this is going to hand 20s and the second seed over to the red team. And now, what was a position where Franco's Egg Apostles had a lot of opportunity to play. They had 2 seeds that were, curse point or seed point. But now, Terrors are seed point for both teams, and the XP is level. Their lead has evaporated. It is a 1-1 in game number 3. Oh, man. This is it. This is the one. We're going to get a nice big 20 fight to decide who our winner of our first qualifier is going to be, transparent.
I mean, yeah. So the whole play of the blue team has been to just focus this bot lane. They have acknowledged that they only need 1 keep down to end the game. And I think that's the whole thing. They have Zagara, they have Greymane. Their core pressure is so good. All they have to do is win 1 team fight, go bot, take that keep, and go for the core. I think the keep's still a bit too healthy. It's on 99.9% HP at the moment, essentially. So, they've not been able to make that exact play they'd like to, but they definitely have the opportunity to do something. And if they win this seed, they could still go for core. That Garden Terror is going to be pushing down that bot lane straight onto the keep. And they have enough structure damage.
This is what we were talking about, though. This is what we were looking for. That level 20 even fight for Norway felt like their best option, right? If they could just find a way to get to 20s and be sensible. Blaze is licked. He should have a window to bunker. There it is. The gust. Is it big enough? Darkwolf is going back into the enemy team. Can he get in the bunker? No, he's just going to use his E to avoid that. The Maw catching Lucio. This could spell disaster. They're going to try and peel as best they can, but Makaku will fall. The APOC coming out from Tommy Gun. Is it enough? No, it's not. He's going to have to blink away as well. The Hellgate is going to bring him safety, but with Lucio dead and the objectives coming in, I think the position of Norway may start to fall apart here. That bottom keep is surely on the chopping block.
Yeah, it definitely should be the main focus. Lucio 40 seconds away, but it seems like the blue team are just going for this mid one, maybe trying to open up a little bit of route. Maybe it's just a case of convenience.
I think there's no rush. That bottom keep is going to get pressured eventually. They can't clear it yet.
It is a long way away, and but there is a catapult still to help out a little bit. Garden Terror, as you say, will be chopping through those auto attacks, which is part of its HP, and well, temporarily once again on a new brag. And with the Ruby in armor at level 1, they are just absolutely happy.
Yeah, lots of spell armor on the noob. Coffee does need to be careful. Zagara has a wider booty, and that wide booty can get a lot of sand stuck in it when you're playing against a Chromie. They can't do more than half of mid keep, but are they going to be able to get more in bottom? A nice cleanse is going to save Diablo. Oh no, Tommy Gun is deep. Bunker is available, but he cannot get it off in time. The punish is in. Darkwolf webbing the Diablo, trying to run, but it's not enough. They cannot escape. Both frontliners down. They have been able to claim a keep, but they will surely lose at least 1 in return. And Coffee does not look very safe to me, transparent. He's going to try and scam the Lucio.
The red team are split, however, and I think Lucio is able to live, all thanks to the damage of Falstad. Here goes Rhaegar, the red team recognizing that they do not have long left on the clock. They couldn't play this game forever, and right now they need to be trying to make some moves to get back into it. Greymane here taking this siege camp, knowing it's going to be sieging this mid-forge and could well net them another keep. Because I don't think they lose the game just yet. Red team have a decent amount of pressure, but with Chromie and Mage Falstad, their structure damage isn't quite on the same level as Zagara and Greymane. But still, with 30 seconds still on the clock for Zagara and Rhaegar, they could well make a play for it.
Yeah, it's going to be close. They're going to be 3 defenders here, but I like how Franco's Egg Apostles have made this a difficult ending call. Greymane, though, getting caught in the loop. That is really bad. The bunker isn't near him. He's going to go down. Is there compensation? Zeus is going to live. Looks like they are not going to be able to get a counter pick here. There's still 10 seconds, though, on the Rhaegar. I don't think that's enough for them to end anymore. The keep in the middle lane is falling lower, but the wave might be in time to save it. I think it's not. I think the keep is down. Yeah. That's a dead keep.
So red team now looking to go for a bruiser camp in this bot lane. Still keep that pressure up. This seed is objective for them. They don't have to fight till the death for it, but they absolutely, if they get it, they do get a lot of pressure on the map, and it will take that pressure off that mid lane as well. Be
30
great.
seconds on the grey main. I think they definitely get this for free. Dahaka's trying to push the map out as much as possible. I'd almost like to see one of them go and tag that top camp. I think that if they get the seed and the top camp, they have so much like potential to push out their lanes.
Bruiser cap.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Yeah, well, it feels a bit redundant right now. Surely they're going
Spell
for
armor when you push top.
Yeah, I mean they're going for it. You're going for it.
Yeah.
I mean I would just be thinking about pushing mid and core right now. That's my thoughts. But you know, you're a wiser man than me occasionally.
Well, I know what they were gonna do. Let's not pretend that's the same as wise.
As we do have this push in the mid lane being focused by the Reds right now. The bot lane one just being wiped off the map by Coffee and Protoss Frank. And here in the mid lane, the Reds are still trying something while Dahaka shoves out that top lane with that spell power camp. The spell
Do you
armor
think
camp.
Dahaka has to come soon, though? His dig isn't really available. There's no bush nearby, and there he is. Zeus is looking to see if any friends want to come and join the Dino party, but so far, no friends to be found. They are going to knock on this keep incredibly aggressively. Makaku dropping again is not ideal. They're not going to get the ping on him. There he is. He's come back now. This wall is falling, but the Garden Terror is a little bit weak in that late game. And although it's given them map pressure and pushed the waves in for them, it hasn't really taken down any of those keeps. I think the Lucio...
No, not the cows.
Cows chewing on the
I mean,
internet cable.
it's up to them to pause if they want to or not. Of course, everyone also wants to go to bed.
They have also only got 3 pauses.
Yeah.
And they've used 1. I mean, that maths might be figuring in right now. Man, that is a reference that is old and a bit. Hopefully, Makaku's internet holds. We believe in you, Norway.
We believe in the Norwegian internet.
They can't afford to have it drop. Thank you.
Very good,
Hero
very
week,
good.
hero week. Not actually hero week. This is it. Kicked off till next Tuesday. Hero month, though, I guess.
Yeah, you are, for sure.
Well,
That does all make sense.
sounds like Trans has replacement.
No,
plans in the
I
works,
was just
guys.
thinking
Good
about
news.
the Rumble, but it's not this channel, so not here.
It's not. No.
As Red Team
Yet.
back away,
Yeah.
perhaps not feeling the safety of their support's internet. But this is a weird one. We're in a stalemate right now. And
3 pults in the bottom, though. It's very soon. The red team are going to have to deal with that. They have got globals. This seed is so low value right now.
yeah, it is incredibly low value. And the Red
I
Team,
think the blue team are going to try and back... You can't backdoor a wind tunnel gamer, can you?
I mean, they have Zagara and Greymane.
But you just get wind tunneled off the core.
It's very big damage, but you're absolutely right. Wind Tunnel and, of course, Apocalypse, what we have seen from Tommy Gunn. And a lot of his Apocs have been had to be used for... You know, the Apocs will be used in panic. We've not really seen one in a good environment. Darkwolf tries to find something, but it's Blaze who finds it.
not prepared!
And it's a huge more on top of it. Bunker comes down, and it's the burst onto Falstad. This is almost definitely a securing victory for Franco's Egg Postles as Chromie go down as well. Not prepared, finding it. Apog then once again being used in emergency. Lucio goes down in the corner. Tommy Gun's there, and Zeus is dessert as the Egg Postles have cracked this qualifier. They will be most likely going to those grand final days where they could win an Egg Cup. It's GG, well played, and our champions today are Franco's Egg Postles.
Not prepared. What a fantastic engage. And Coffee just in rage to put them more on top of it and seal their fate. Fantastically done in the end by Franco's Egg Postles. But what a close fought game by our Norwegians. I think all we did here was truly prove Protoss Frank is the best looking Norwegian.